on your social media that you are doing it sized properly, and so which gives a professional professional appearance on your page. So that's this. I just put a general graphic in the background, but it's important to keep that presence, that professional presence across all your platforms. And it's not easy because so many of these platforms are a little bit different in sizing, and also they change quite often. And in this presentation, I focused a little bit more on Facebook because they have so many different things going on right presently. And I did touch on some of the other platforms as well, such as LinkedIn and Twitter and I think Instagram. And there's many places that you can go to for that have little cheat sheets, which I use often to help you with these sizing, making sure that you are up to date on the sizing. What I have here is what's going on with Facebook presently, and I don't know how many of you, when you use your own Facebook layout on your monitors, if you're on your desktop, typically on the left-hand side was the classic setup for Facebook for a business page, where your profile image was on the left. And you may see that now, depending on whether you decided to use the new view for Facebook, they are going to ultimately have everyone go to the new setup. I know you used to be able to go back and forth between the classic and the new, but I'm not sure if you can go backwards to the classic anymore. I currently am, use the new Facebook layout as far as how I see people's pages. So I'm pointing this out because people might see, if they have not changed their Facebook setup, they may be seeing it this originally on the left, where you have a square profile image and you have your cover image is on the right in those at those dimensions. But the newer setup now, as you can see on the right, has a round profile image and a little bit longer, different aspect ratio for the cover image. But nicely, they didn't cover up the cover image as much with the profile picture like they used to. So so basically, if you're going to upload one of your profile image for whether it's your logo or another image, you need to keep it to 180 by 180 pixels is the minimum size. They will downsize it to fit into the space. But you want to make sure that you're not, you have the aspect ratio correct, which is like that 1:1, because it's a square or the circle, and you don't want Facebook to distort it, because they will if you don't have if you don't upload a proper ratioed image. This shows a picture of your cover image on Facebook. Basically, the blue-green area in the center was from the classic, and the newer ratio for the cover image on Facebook is that longer pink image. But generally, why I'm showing this is there's this safe zone in your cover image where you should keep all your pertinent content. So if you were to use some text, and you shouldn't use too much text on your cover, it's typically an image or small statement. You shouldn't list a lot of fine print, because when this gets reduced onto a mobile device, no one will ever be able to read it. But on a mobile device, it's a more square format, so it's cropped. As you can see, that blue area there, you don't see that area on a mobile device, whereas on a desktop, if someone's viewing your page on a desktop, it's more elongated, so you would get that area that's in the blue area or the pink, but the top and bottom would be cropped. So you want to make sure any important image content is kept within that 640 by 312 area. So I took a look at Greater Valley Chamber. And you can see this was off of my desktop, so I have the newer setup with the small round profile. And for instance, I would suggest to Greater Valley Chamber that rather than use their traditional logo in their profile picture, that either an alternate image or possibly an image based on their logo be created to fit that space, because part of their name obviously is being cut off, and it is a little bit hard to read the copy that Greater Valley Chamber of Commerce within that area, especially when that gets small, when that's converted down to a or seen down on a mobile device. But the profile image will have a white border around it, which breaks into the cover image. And now some nice features in the new Facebook is that they have sliders, and I see that Greater Valley has taken advantage of that. You can slide, I believe you can slide across on theirs. This is just a static, obviously, but so the other thing that they've added with Facebook is they've taken pixel color from your image, and you really don't have, you can't change this as far as I know. So whatever your image is that you're using in your cover photo, Facebook will pull color and use it in that gradient outside your image on the left and the right. So if you are a corporation, you're trying to keep certain branding and you want your colors to stay, you should be aware of that. You may need to put when you're designing that cover image, use colors toward that very edge that might incorporate your brand colors. So those colors would be used in that gradient. The other minor detail is they did round the bottom two corners of the cover image on a desktop view. And it's not a big deal unless you specifically have a special border or frame on your cover image, and that might get cropped off. This is a news feed layout, and all your posts are typically a 500 pixel by 261 pixel shape. You can use other shapes. That's your traditional, but pretty much the 500 width is standard. So if you have a vertical, you can use it, but it will be cropped at the 500 or sized to the 500. And as you can see, as you go down the feed, how small the little logo button becomes on the upper left corner. So again, you want to make that as easy to see, and you may want to use some particular type of graphic that works better as it's sized down quite small. I took the liberty of going to a few of our members' websites just to take a quick look to see how they look on mobile view. This is mobile view. And you can see Chamber on the left, and Welcome Wagon looks nice. I love that logo for Welcome Wagon. Or the little tagline gets a little bit hard to read as it goes to a mobile view. Hudson Realty has a nice symbol that shows up well, and their image shows up well. And the one logo works well on Realty One Group. However, Teresa, you might notice what happens, and that's the safety area that I was mentioning with the logo. That logo needed to be a little bit more to the right in order for it not to be cropped off in the mobile view. So that's what I was talking about, the safe zone.
I will let them know that.
Okay, at least that's what I got when I had it on my mobile phone. And then there's many cheat sheets that gives you the pixel ratios for all the different sizes, different types of things that you might, images that you might upload into Facebook or any of your social media. There's, you can find these little cheat sheets everywhere for Twitter, for Instagram, you name it. Just quickly, Twitter business page, showing example of The sizing, the 15 by 500 is your cover image, which you can see right next door on the Greater Valley there. I have a smaller view of it. And there's a safe area to try to keep your profile image, because as they change from mobile view to desktop view, that image, that profile image, can move around a little bit on your and cover different parts of your cover image depending on the size of your mobile view. So you do want to keep a little bit of a safe area for that. Quickly, LinkedIn. I went to the business page for I used Greater Valley as the guinea pig through most of this. And you know what? I never switched my error on here. The cover photo is I should have switched my captions. I was doing this late at night last night. So anyway, it's a 300 by 300 area for your logo, and 1128 by 191 for your cover image. And this looks great on for Greater Valley Chamber. And again, because your logo is square and the area is a square, it works pretty well. It works very well, I should say. But went in the round format, probably should work on something else. This is Instagram. I just went to the main page. And again, I was doing this on my desktop to grab on some of these. So therefore it will look different on your mobile as well. But on Instagram, you've got a 110 by 110 pixel ratio. Again, it's a square or circle shaped equal ratio. And if your image isn't, they will distort it. And all your image sizes, typically we're 1080 by 1080. And now with Instagram, you can post different sizes for landscape portrait, but you'll notice that the 180 width is consistent. And then, I have a bunch of references here. I don't know if these are live. Yeah, these are live links. I can pass this along. And again, you can go to, there are online sources that will resize and set up your images to proper sizes for all these formats. You can go that route. You have to be careful of some of the fine print, and if they're using images, if they're creating ads for you, stop sharing. Sometimes they're going to be adding fees on, etc. But there are a lot of great sources for creating your online graphics. But it is important to make sure that presence is consistent and professional, where your logos aren't getting chopped off or your images aren't being stretched or squeezed. Does anyone have any questions?